morning, good afternoon, guys. We're back for another Geek Tavern. As always, it's me, Sean, and I'm joined by Mike.
Hello.
And Aaron.
Yo.
And today we will be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. The original Justice League came out in 2017, and due to some unfortunate circumstances, Zack Snyder was unable to fulfill his vision, and Joss Whedon came in and basically completely overturned it, and it is a completely different movie. And after some fan outcry and opportunities on HBO Max, Zack Snyder was finally able to realize his vision with this 4-hour-long epic movie.
Yeah.
So
Yes, 4 hours.
4 hours, yes.
Let's
Preface that. 4 hours well spent.
Yes. I thought the first half was kind of slow.
I'd agree with that. It took a little bit to get
maybe because it was that part was basically the same.
Yeah,
Really.
the build up.
Well,
yeah. Something
with the exception of the Amazonian fight on Themyscira, that is like completely different.
Well, it's not completely different.
I mean, the plot beat is the same, but like the events is different.
I'll tell you what, Chris Stuckman said it when I watched his thing today on it, that a lot of the parts that I liked about Justice League from 2017 were Zack Snyder's parts. Like the fight at the Themyscira is almost not changed. Like it's almost unaltered, except for the way that the temple collapses off the shore, like off the cliffside, because that doesn't happen in this cut.
Okay.
They lock them in and they take the mother box, and then Steppenwolf cuts with his axe like an X and breaks through it and then chases them down. So like the temple never collapses to entomb Steppenwolf and the parademons. So I thought that was really cool. But other than that fight really isn't altered. Now a lot of parts are shifted around in the beginning because we don't get the Bruce beating up the parademon and then like using the crook as bait, and then have him be like, we gotta unite the team, and then goes off and like a day later he has a full grown beard and he's searching for Aquaman. Like that happens, but it's at the very beginning. Like it's like he's been on this journey.
And then it shows him shaving.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a reason behind that.
Yeah.
And then like the Wonder Woman thing is added after all that instead of being at the very beginning, which was interesting. I liked the way that things were moved around.
Yeah.
It made it feel like it was a different movie.
I was thinking about this just now, actually. So we get like a superhero scene with Wonder Woman where she saves all those people from the terrorist attack. And then we have that Barry scene where he saves Iris, but we don't get like a individual superhero scene with Aquaman, Cyborg, or Batman. I mean, I guess we don't need one for Batman because we had a full movie with him.
We do get one with Aquaman. He saves that guy on the boat.
Oh,
that
that's
comes
right.
later,
right.
but
You're right.
We do get
right.
that.
Yeah, but we don't have one. Well, we have Cyborg giving that woman a bunch of money, but
yeah,
I guess
that's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess now thinking about it, they do have their own like thing to flesh them out a little bit more.
We already know Bruce.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the other thing. Batfleck was much better in this. Like he was good in BVS, but he was much better in this one.
He's not as good in this one, and I feel like it's because you can tell that he's just like completely over being Batman at that point, because he had to come back and reshoot like 80 pages worth of material.
Yeah.
So he's probably just like, fuck this.
Yeah. and also the 80 pages that he had to come back and reshoot with Joss were just him nerfed and getting like tossed around like a rag doll.
Yeah.
So Batman didn't even need to be in Joss Whedon's cut of this. Like he was there because he's part of the Justice League, but he had nothing to do. He was the guy he was the comedic relief who got tossed around by Superman or ran out of bullets at the final battle, and you're just like, what is he even doing here? Like at least in the Snyder Cut, he was going around. He was spearheading every operation, and he was putting himself on the front line. A guy with no superpowers is literally putting himself in the shit so everyone else can get in there and do their thing. So I mean, Batman was like this is what I would have had in Joss's version. This is what I have in Snyder's version.
Was Batman dressed in his bat suit whenever they resurrected Superman?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't remember because everybody else is, and then obviously they have to fight Superman, and then Batman can't get there because he's just a normal guy. So he shows up like 10 minutes later. He's like, "I'm here."
Well, that was the other thing too. In that scene, it was a lot better because we had that scene earlier between Alfred and Diana, and she's like, "What are you working on, Alfred?" And he was like, "Oh, they're gauntlets." And he takes like a Kryptonian rifle and shoots it, and it absorbed the energy. So like instead of the stupid ass scene where Superman lifts Batman up and he's like, "You won't let me live, you won't let me die," and then he throws him. Like instead, he actually comes over to Bruce and goes to laser him, and he blocks it.
Yeah.
And then ditches that gauntlet, and then he hits him with the other one. I was like, that's so much better. Like Bruce isn't the butt of jokes anymore in this movie. Like he actually it served a purpose.
I told you both separately today that I've only seen the 2017 version like once.
I've only ever seen it once as well.
So like, and the running joke with me is like, I don't remember shit if I don't watch it 45 times.
Well,
so
I just watched this last Sunday, and I watched it 2 times previous.
Yeah.
And when I watched it the third time, I was like, man, like it was just a groan fest the entire time. I was like, ugh. Like I was hyped for the Snyder Cut, and then after I watched it, I was like way more hype.
Yeah.
Because it just it lived up to the expectations I didn't know I had for it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess is the best way to put it.
So I guess my point was like, I'm not gonna remember what wasn't in.
All right.
That.
At this point, you can just forget this one.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really just there to have a set piece because I don't own much memorability.
It bothers me that it's canon, though.
Yeah.
It bothers me that this version is still canon.
Yeah.
Like the Snyder Cut isn't.
Well, technically, yeah, the Snyder Cut is the alternate timeline or whatever.
Yeah, it's not even like.
I think that they're gonna change that.
I really hope that they do.
Yeah, me too.
Because I was on Twitter this morning and I just see calls for restore the Snyder verse, which I'm like, yeah. After watching that, like Man of Steel was all right. Batman vs Superman, the Ultimate Edition, still pretty all right. The Snyder Cut was like leagues above those, and I was like, man, he hit his stride on this.
It's a little indulgent at times.
There
are scenes. Well, not just that, but like the scene that, like, I'll go back to the Flash where he saves Iris West, where it literally like zooms into a sesame seed like falling off of a bagel. Yeah. It's like, okay, so
so my biggest
sandwich.
Yeah, I gotta eat my floor sandwich.
Yeah, my biggest problem with that scene is the truck driver.
Yeah,
like for one, who's gonna take that long to get something off the floor? Like, sorry, you can bend a little further. Like, and two, like, you're not gonna do that in the middle of the city,
right?
And I don't know what 3 is, but like it just made no sense.
3 is the CGI sesame seed falling off of a
sandwich. I didn't even mind that.
I was just like,
oh, that's funny.
It doesn't.
That was one thing that I kind of groaned about.
I was just like,
that wasn't necessary.
But there are like mild things like that throughout. Like, you know, Zack's. You can say whatever about his slow-mo because that's what he does, but like that was one where it was just like, oh, that's egregious.
Yeah.
Like the rest of them are like perfectly fine for the most part, but that one I was just like, I couldn't believe that.
A little more on the Flash scene. How creepy was it that he like was like touching her face?
Yeah, it was very creepy.
I'm this is not making me like you anymore.
Yeah, it was.
I remember.
I was like, dude, just save her.
Just
like, dude, just like, quick, like, what is your issue? Like,
yeah. So I guess we're to believe that's the first time he's ever seen her.
Yeah.
Like
a woman.
Yes.
And it's not even explicitly said that it's Iris West, but I mean, I guess if you are a fan, like we are, we could come to that conclusion. But...
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the casting, she's listed as Iris.
Yeah, I thought that was
because that came out before it released, but I mean, she just automatically knows who he is now. Like, who else is going to speed away with lightning?
Yeah, he just.
I mean, he's not. he's not established yet because he's not called the Flash until the CW Flash tells him, because that's canon.
Oh, I forgot that he showed up.
Yeah. So, anyway, when he gets established and called the Flash, she's gonna know who he is immediately because she looked at his face for like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
they were admiring each other before that too.
I saw somebody post something about in that scene at the very beginning. It was somebody that I follow on Twitter, and they're like, this scene's really cool. And then it shows Barry like touching the glass, and it like ripples, and then it explodes as he goes out. And he's like, no, that's a really cool visual, but why the fuck didn't you just push the door open? He's like, there's a handle, bro. He's like, you didn't have to cause property damage on your way out the door.
That's a very good point.
Because he's new. He's a new superhero, so I don't know.
Honestly, I thought what he was doing was he was going to phase through it.
Me too.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too.
I mean, he does phase at least one time in the movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Flash should have died like 3 times in this movie because after he restarts the mother box to resurrect Superman, he just goes like, his back should be fucking broken.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's part of
which he could be because he has super fast healing.
Yeah, he's like super. That's what I was gonna say.
Which we do see.
Yeah, which I was like, that's one part of this movie that I was like so excited by.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we'll get to there, but
I mean, this movie just does the characters so much more. I mean, the Flash was okay in the original version, but this one we get like a lot more to flesh out of him. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, he's like corny and comedic and everything, and some of the jokes still don't work, but most of them do work. Even for like Zack Snyder doesn't really do jokes, but they worked in this movie. But like Cyborg is like a completely different character in this movie.
Yeah.
Which is like
good
to the benefit of him and the movie.
I mean, I didn't give 2 shits about him.
Like he was literally just like
he was just there.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing to him.
No, there was nothing, and I feel like when Joss came on, he's like, I don't know what to do with these characters, so if it's a character that I don't really give a shit about, you're getting put on the back burner, and you're not going to have anything to do in this movie.
And I can't blame him for that because I never cared about Cyborg, but clearly Zack Snyder was able to.
Like this could have been like a Cyborg movie just in itself.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, though. Like that's the thing that's surprising with Joss is like you look at Avengers, and he gave every character their own bit, something to do. Made them,
but they were already established at that point.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. He needed to take a little bit more time and effort.
Yeah,
because these like Cyborg and the Flash were not. Neither was Aquaman.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's, like he didn't
Wonder
know what
Woman
to do because
Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Those are the main 3 that are already established. We know their backstories. We've had movies with them in it. Mm-hmm. You need to take the time to show the audience. And like the only one that he really did it with was Flash. That's it. He really didn't do it with Aquaman, but it didn't bother me.
And that was still a Zack Snyder scene, like whenever he was talking to his dad.
Yeah.
Like that was like his scene.
Yeah. Like all that, like that's the thing. You really needed to give those 3 characters the spotlight to give them their bit of character because it doesn't work in the original cut.
Mm. I told Aaron this the other day. I'm wondering if the Snyder Cut would have worked on its own back in 2017. Like, if this version was released in 2017, if it would still work. Because we've had 4 years now to, like, we get to know Aquaman. We get to know Wonder Woman even more. And, I mean, Cyborg has his own fill in this movie. But, like, and I think that the Flash does too. But, like, aside from that, Aquaman still is a little shallow in this movie. But like we have like the Aquaman movie to really get to know that character,
which I still haven't seen.
Yeah. Oh, so maybe you'll have an interesting perspective on this because I think that it benefits. I think that it benefits from having watched Aquaman because you know that character more and the interactions that he has with like the Atlanteans and humans.
Except for Amber Heard doing a British
Oh,
accent,
that was
which just completely boggles my mind. And then like it's like Carrie Fisher in A New Hope. Like, and I get why.
Smell your foul
Yeah.
stench.
And like I get why, because she was acting against, Peter Cushing, so it's kind of like I understand trying to like match his energy or all that, and but with like with this, I was like, why are you doing a British accent? Because then I watched Aquaman
And it was
last
bad.
Sunday.
It's a very bad British
Yeah,
accent too.
before I saw the Snyder Cut, so I'm like, why does she have a British accent right now? Like, it just threw me entirely.
But yeah, so how do you feel Aquaman holds up in the Snyder Cut? Just like as a character.
So I really liked him in this, as much as I don't really like Jason Momoa that much. Like I just think he's overhyped. I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I don't buy into his hype. But
maybe you'll change your mind after all.
But yeah, maybe like I would give it a chance now to really sit down. I was just like, I don't care.
I never wanted to watch Aquaman,
but I thought he was pretty good in this. Or not that, but
like I never wanted
get
to
the
watch
shit out of here.
Yeah, let's just forget it. We're not even like just burn every copy.
Yeah, the disc isn't even in there, so I don't.
Yeah, well, there's a DVD in there, not the Blu-ray. Yeah. Who cares? It's a DVD. Who's a shit? Anyway, no. Like Aquaman, I liked Aquaman in the original cut as his own character. I was like, okay, yeah, that's.
He was just like a Chad.
Well,
like,
yeah,
that's what his character was.
Yeah,
and he's kind of is in this too.
Yeah,
a little bit totally.
Because
he's still sympathetic.
Because I think that one funny line, it was probably the funniest thing Aquaman did, was when Cyborg like catches him. I think it was Cyborg.
Yeah.
He's like, my man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought pretty good at that one. I think that was in the Joss Whedon.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
But
yeah, a lot of stuff.
They kind of like exchanged sympathy parts. So in the Joss Whedon version, it was him on the dropship, like saying about how he thinks they're all going to die because he has the rope. The rope. Yeah, the lasso. True. And so that scene was replaced with him caring about Cyborg's entire family dying.
That was the other cool thing. They were in the Batcave. It was before they even left for Russia, and he was talking to Barry, and Barry said to him, he's like, I thought you didn't care. And then Aquaman turns around and he goes, I never said that. Like, and I was like, he's actually taking a minute to strip away his masculinity for a moment to actually say he gives a shit about the team.
And that's one part that I really liked, that I was like, maybe he's not all that bad.
That's what I mean. Zack gave these characters character.
Yep.
Not just throwaway lines.
Well, when you have 4 hours to fill.
Yeah, well, yeah, but like that's the thing, is like I appreciated the 4-hour-long cut way more because there was time. Like, none of it felt unnecessary to me. Everything felt like it had a purpose, and like his vision was entirely fulfilled. Was there stuff that could have been cut out? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you strip away too much, it's gonna fall apart like BBS or any of the other ones.
That's one thing about this movie that I thought was awesome, is that Superman doesn't even show up until like 3 hours into the movie.
Yeah.
Because we're like 2.5 hours in, I'm like, Superman still isn't here.
And it
like,
sounds
so cool.
It sounds so goofy too in the Jaws cut, because when I watched it, they're just like sitting around and they're like, well, we have to do something, and they're like, wait a minute, no, you're not thinking what I think you're thinking. And then they're just like, yeah, and then they go dig him off, and just like, it's so goofy. Like, they drag him in, and they're like, let's do it, and then they put him in the
That's
water.
something that I think that this movie benefits from too, because it's like an actual discussion. Like, do we...
Yeah, I thought that scene was great.
Because all of them have gotten their asses handed to them, like, multiple times by Steppenwolf at this point, so they're like, well, we need Superman. And then you even have, like, them digging up his corpse, which is also kind of like this is kind of a morally gray thing that we're doing here. Yeah. Like, you know, that adds depth to the characters. And then whenever they are finally going to resurrect him in that Kryptonian ship, Cyborg has that vision, and he's like, no. And then Barry's like, go?
Yeah.
And then like, it's like confusion, and then
he just goes.
Yeah,
and does it. Yeah.
Like, I thought that was was like,
Yeah.
that amplified the scene.
It did, because there was nothing in that scene in the Jaws cut other than he was just like, okay, one, and then he goes, and we don't even get the turning back time.
Oh yeah, that part was great.
In the
Where,
Jaws
he just does it.
because it's perfectly timed, and he hits it as soon as it hits the water.
and then he
But in
fucking
this,
dies.
yeah.
But I love how many times in this movie Barry just f's up. Like,
oh yeah,
Well,
because
yeah.
it shows that he's new.
Yeah, because like I feel like in the Jaws cut, you only got a couple moments of that where it's him tripping over something or landing on Wonder Woman with his face in between her breasts and then like quickly jumps on. It's like,
Well, thank God that's out.
yeah, that was completely out.
Thank God.
But like that's shit that it's like, okay, like I get it, he's clumsy, but he ain't perfect. Don't tell me that he started way back here in the Kryptonian ship and made it exactly as it hit.
Yeah.
Like, no, like that's what I like, because it started going down in, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, and then it starts going back, and I was like, oh, I was like, he's turning back time. I was like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yep. I love the banter between Flash and Cyborg.
Yeah.
We were talking about Wonder Woman there with Flash. I like when he's like, you think she's in the old or younger man?
yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, she's 5,000.
She's 5,000 years old.
They're all
Every
older.
man's a younger man.
See, that's just another thing about Cyborg actually being a character. Like, I think I could count on one hand the amount of lines that Cyborg had in the fucking Joss Whedon cut.
Yeah.
But like,
It probably can be counted simply on one hand.
but like in this, he is an actual character. You know, obviously he has his typical conflict that he has as Victor Stone. You know, his dad doesn't come and support his sports career because he's too involved with science. He has a terrible accident, so he needs rebuilt by that science, and then he has resentment toward his dad because his mother is dead. But I think that his father dying in this is a completely different thing. But at this point, he has he is basically just a computer at this point. Like,
I mean, it's just his skull.
Yeah.
Because there's like an X-ray scene later. It's just his
Yeah,
skull.
he was like trying.
it's like his torso and
Yeah,
like one arm.
He was
It's-
trying to rebuild him
Even later on.
organically
Yeah.
using the mother box. Because like when it shows him on the thing,
I mean, I remember
it's
on
building flesh, and then it like starts to turn that flesh into like cybernetic pieces that basically just become living machines. So he becomes part of the mother box at that point.
Yeah, like he isn't just a one-off joke in this one by saying "booyah."
Yeah.
Like he actually is a character.
Yeah, and he has dimension to him, which is nice.
And-
And he goes through an arc because he's like, he starts out, you know, with his resentment, and he's real like edgy all the time, and you know, hates his dad and all that. But then like as time progresses, he starts to open up a little bit more, and then when his dad dies, then it's like game over. Like he has a character arc versus in the Joss cut where there's absolutely no character arc.
That scene where his dad dies is freaking intense.
Yeah.
Because like obviously that was a self-sacrifice, but he just like superheats the mother box, and it's like 5,000 Kelvin or something. It's like, bro, you were standing next to a sun.
Yeah.
like
I mean, that's why he just
he just like
dissolves.
evaporates.
Yeah.
Yeah, you literally like saw the blood boiling under his skin before he vaporized.
Yeah.
It's like,
In the
whoa.
trailer, I thought, because like there's like the lasers like
Yeah.
sparking, I thought that was like ripping him apart, like at an atomic level.
It
but-
kind of is.
Yeah, it is, but at the same time, he's just like literally just evaporating
Yeah.
into a cloud, which that scene was great. And then Cyborg coming to the conclusion is like, oh, he superheated it so that we could track its thermal signature to know
Right.
where their hideout is.
Which another great additive.
Yeah.
Because instead, like in the Jaws cut, they're just like, whoa, Russia. There.
Yeah, they just-
and then you just find out somehow. Like, I don't know.
So I love that bubble that Steppenwolf makes. I was like, oh shit, Wanda's here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which
so
it might have looked like that in Joss Whedon.
it did,
I don't
but
remember
everything
if it
was
was
red.
red.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it was the same dome,
Okay.
but everything was red. Like
Okay.
everything was tinted red, and it looked terrible.
Yeah.
The visual effects are a lot better in this cut Because Steppenwolf looked like a PS2 video game character.
Yeah, see, I don't remember what he even looked like in the other one.
His armor looks a lot cooler.
I'll say this. The 2017 gets Steppenwolf's look down closer to the comics, but I don't care about that because he looks way cooler as an alien with iridescent living armor. Like, that's just way cooler. And the way, like, if you watch the Whedon cut, he moves so wonky. Like, he doesn't look like a real thing. Like, he just looks like some, like I said, a video game character that's just, like, knocking people off their horses and shit. In this, he looks like he is 8 feet tall, weighs like 1,000 pounds, and every hit that he deals is completely, like, earth-shattering.
I don't remember from, this is really irrelevant, it has nothing to do with this character, but did he always have so many fingers? Like, he doesn't have just fingers. Yeah.
He didn't in the Whedon cut.
Okay.
Because he's an alien in this one, and Steppenwolf isn't traditionally he's an alien.
He's interdimensional.
Yes. But he looks human.
Yeah.
So in the Whedon cut, they kind of made him look more human versus in this where they made him look more alien, which I like the alien looking version a lot better.
Yeah. So I didn't know if that was different, but I was like, I don't know why. It kind of like unsettled me.
Well, they made him even more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
they actually give him purpose.
Yeah,
too.
I didn't give a shit about Steppenwolf in that version. He was just a cardboard cutout. I was like, I don't care about anything that he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember anything about him.
Well, and that was the other thing too. Like,
other than he was in it.
Like, I think Whedon walked onto set half asleep, and they're like, and he's like, "What are we doing?" And they're like, "Remember Avengers? Yeah, bad guy gets cube and does bad thing. Yeah, we're gonna do that.
3 cubes.
Okay, cool." And they're like, "Yeah, but there's 3 cubes," and he's like, "I'll make it work, whatever." So it's just Loki coming down and getting the cubes, and he's gonna open up a portal so Darkseid can come through for no reason really, other than just to overtake Earth in that cut. However, in this cut, he's just out to overtake a world and discovers that the mother boxes are there, locates all 3.
Well, he goes to Earth specifically because the mother box is called to him upon Superman's death.
Yeah. So once he discovers the first 2, then he has insight into the past or something that he uses and discovers that the anti-life equation is carved somewhere on the Earth's surface. So that is the reason that he contacts Darkseid to tell him, you need to come here because I have something very important to you. At that point, I was like, this is so much better. The villain actually serves a purpose, and he's about to call an even graver threat to Earth.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, I was like, sold. I was like, you just made the movie infinitely better with a scene that lasted a minute by you telling Darkseid the anti-life equation is here.
Yeah.
Like, that just amplified the movie so much more. I was like, that is what I wanted in the original. Because there's absolutely no mention of the anti-life equation. I think that he mentions Darkseid once. He says something like, he will be pleased. And he doesn't even mention his name. Like, at least they mentioned Thanos.
Yeah.
In Avengers. And you know that that's the threat that's coming. In this, like, and even Steppenwolf at the end just gets carried away by the parademons and boom tubes back to wherever. And you're just like, oh, he'll be back, you know, and it's just corny and stupid.
Yeah, in the Joss Whedon cut, he was just trying to take over the world because that's what bad guys do.
Yeah.
But in this one, he is exiled by Darkseid, and he is
trying to earn his way back in.
Yeah. And then, obviously, you mentioned the anti-life equation is what really prompts Darkseid to be like, okay. But that one scene where he's like, you owe me 50,000 worlds before you're allowed to come back. And he's just like, oh my fucking god.
That's all.
Yeah, he's like kind of struggling to overtake Earth because he's trying to find the mother box.
Yeah. And he does it. He says this. He's like, this world will fall easily because it has no protectors,
no Kryptonians, no lanterns.
Yeah. And it's just like, I'll be able to bitch slap this planet easy. And then, lo and behold, they fight back.
And then, because he finds out that Earth was where the last stand of Darkseid took place centuries ago.
Which that scene was a lot better than in the original version.
With Steppenwolf being the guy who came to Earth. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, no. Darkseid has to be the one who came.
And then it has Zeus and Ares in it, and
that was all in there though.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Nothing was changed except for Darkseid. Darkseid was the only thing that was
And,
changed.
did the Lantern die?
Yeah, because Steppenwolf went for the ring and that took off.
Okay, well, I clearly don't remember.
I don't think they cut the hand off though, did they?
No, they didn't cut the hand. Somebody like shot him and his hand like went like this in his frame and then it came up. No, this is way more violent.
Yes.
I like that a lot more.
Yes.
I mean, it's rated R, and all of the violence was like heightened just because that's what Zack Snyder does.
Yeah.
Like Wonder Woman is like openly murdering. people.
Oh my God!
Oh,
that
yeah.
that what the heist or not heist
The terrorist.
terrorist attack.
Just throwing guys against walls.
Yes.
Blood just splattering everywhere.
It was so good.
And
like,
I feel like the scene where she was like she was doing all the single ladies to like to block all of them. to block all of them. I thought that scene was a lot better in this one.
Yes.
Because like the first couple ones.
I remember thinking that scene was kind of stupid.
Yeah, like
It is.
like the first one where
Yeah.
she's like they're in slow motion, and then he just goes to this, and then she all the single ladies across.
That was also another thing is like there were bits cut out, and I understand why in the Whedon cut in that scene, but I liked them more in this because like he shoots and she blocks them, and then they cut out the part where he just goes and just changes the thing to full auto. Like they cut that out, and I was like, I understand why, but I kind of like it in there more because instead of him just going boop and then he goes. Brrr, like I was like, no, I would rather see him get pissed off and turn on the automatic, like try and block this.
It is kind of funny though that she stops an explosion happening and then immediately just causes another explosion.
And vaporizes Bruce Bolton.
Yeah, that guy just.
Yeah, because his hat like floats down or whatever.
His soul was like.
Yeah.
And
like,
I'm pretty sure that a lot of those guards and everything down below were pulverized
by debris.
Debris.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the entire wall of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of didn't understand that. Like, what was the point of taking the bomb out?
Yeah, she totally just could have got to him and apprehended him, but no, she just.
Well, yeah, she's basically got super speed. Like, just tackle the guy.
And then the little girl, like, can I be like you when I
No.
older? Nope. You
No.
can't.
Oh,
Sorry.
The Superman fight scene was, I think, just as good as the.
Well, I was glad.
Well, whenever he is resurrected, and then they have to.
Yeah, like Batman and everybody's fighting him.
Yeah.
I mean, with the exception of what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
with
him
the
picking him up.
superheated.
See, I don't remember that being very. Like, I don't remember that part.
That was my favorite part of the movie.
I don't remember.
No, I mean in like the original.
No, yeah, like that was my favorite
Yeah.
part of the movie.
Okay.
The original one.
Yeah.
See, I just don't remember that. Maybe I got. There was a time where I kind of rediscovered Superman. So I wonder if that was after Justice League because
forgot about that.
I don't remember that part very much.
I like, and I don't understand why it was omitted when he's going over to Bruce, and the Flash comes up to him, and this is after the epic where he's holding back all three of them, and then he turns to see Barry as he's
so
coming
badass.
towards him, and then he fights him in super speed, and then
But not quite as fast as Flash.
not quite as fast, but
Even though
he's
Superman
damn
is
near
faster
close.
than Flash.
Yeah.
In the comics. In the comics.
When he, I don't know why this was omitted, but when he's like walking towards Bruce, and the Flash comes up to him, and he just goes like this, and he just pushes him like straight into Aquaman, and then he runs into him and everything. I'm like, why was that cut out? I'm like, I wanted to see more of that, like him and Flash interacting, like fighting. I was like, that scene was cool, but I want to see
because we got the one at the end where they race at the end.
Oh, fuck that scene. That was stupid.
I don't remember that.
It was a joke after credit scene where the Flash and Superman are gonna race, and he's like, "Yeah, we'll go west," and then Superman's like, "West is that way."
Yeah. He asked him what coast, east or west, and he's like, "Well, I've always wanted to see the Pacific," and then he's like, "It's that way." He's like, "Oh yeah." And they take off to go do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Be thankful.
Yeah.
No, Superman coming back was good. It wasn't as... Oh, and that was the other thing, too. They cut out that scene, that stupid-ass line that Lois Lane had, when they're out at the Kent farm, and she's like, I thought it was going to take longer for you to remember who you are. and she's like, now you gotta go save the world. And every time I heard that line when I originally watched it, I was like, you selfish bitch. Like, I'm like, you are really gonna let the world end just because you want to hang out with Clark for a while.
I didn't remember, or I didn't hate her as much.
I did not know. This was
like,
the one movie that I was like, you know what? Lois Lane is okay in this movie.
Yeah, until the awkward conversation where her and Martha Kent is like, oh, thanks for telling me to get back out there. And Martha's going to be like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
I was waiting for resolve with that. I was like...
Because Marsha Manhunter was having a conversation with her.
Yeah.
Which that was pretty cool. I mean, it was kind of spoiled for us, but...
Kind of pointless, though.
I didn't.
Because Batman should be like, where the hell were you?
Yeah, where were you?
I would have
used your help.
The Earth was ending.
So that's one problem I have with that after credit scene, that epilogue scene, where Batman is like, "Oh, well, who are you?" It's like, bro, you're the world's best detective. You should know who this fucking is. Like that bothered me a little bit.
Like maybe he was just humoring him.
That could be.
You know, or he's just like, oh, like maybe he just woke up and he's like, I know there's a green man floating.
I mean, this is having like a terrible nightmare.
Oh yeah, actually, I'd be a little like shaken
I'd
up
be the
at
story
that
in it
point.
too.
Yeah. I'd be like,
is it a nightmare or a premonition?
I hope to God it's a vision, because
well, give me that movie.
No, I think it's a premonition because Cyborg has a similar vision.
Yeah,
he has the start of what all that is. So I believe that actually is a premonition.
That's clearly what that was supposed to tease. Is like that. I mean, we get that in Batman vs Superman too, like that apocalypse. This scene was kind of taken away from because it's like, oh, he's gonna see us, because you're supposed to think that it's Darkseid who's finding them, but
which I didn't see that coming either.
Yeah, but that is taken away from because of the vision that Bruce has in Batman vs Superman, where it's clearly that, and Superman's the bad guy and he's gonna kill Bruce.
Yeah.
So at least that's
which then it makes sense because Zack put in the scene in the vision where Lois is a smoldering skeleton in Clark's arms as Darkseid comes up to basically like comfort him and tell him, I will get you your revenge. You're on my side now.
Yeah, that was Cyborg's vision.
Yes.
Whenever he touches he's getting ready to resurrect Superman. He sees that. So I think that's clearly the direction that they wanted to take this universe.
Which it should go that way because I would love to
Which
see
is
that.
great because I'm a little annoyed at this too, but Deathstroke talks to Lex Luthor, and he's like, oh, well, whatever. And he's like, oh, I know the name of Batman. He's Bruce Wayne. And then he's like, oh, well, let's have a party. And then it's
we have a reason to celebrate.
Yeah. And then
let's have a party.
I wish I was
come on.
But then in Bruce's vision, Deathstroke shows up, and then he's like clearly on the side of humanity, which is like nice because they're enemies. I mean, so is the Joker, but
you band together.
Yeah, and then he's just like, let's go.
Well, here was my question. So, current day Batman having that premonition then knows who Darkseid, or not Darkseid, Deathstroke is.
He probably already knows.
Okay.
Yeah, he probably.
I mean, we are pretty late in the.
I mean, Batman's been Batman for 20 years
also,
at this point.
Right.
So.
That was another thing that was really stupid in the Joss version, where Lex is like, shouldn't we have a league of our own? And that's how that scene ends, and I was like, that is so fucking dumb. And then in this, he's like, I have some information for you. And I'm like, ooh, what's he gonna say? And he's like, the name of Batman is Bruce Wayne. And I was like, okay, that is infinitely better.
I mean, it makes sense that Lex would know that.
Well, yeah, of course he knows.
But it just...
He knew that in Batman vs. Superman. He knew that Bruce was Batman. He knew that Clark was Superman.
Yeah, I know. It's just annoying to me that he told Deathstroke who Batman was.
But why would it... I'm just curious as to why it annoys you.
Just because I feel like Lex, that's a hand that Lex never usually plays. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess he had to.
No, but now he can use... Now he has Deathstroke at his beck and call because he's got leverage over him now.
Yeah.
Now that he gave him something that he wants, he can utilize him as much as he wants. It's like Darth Vader and Boba Fett.
So is Lex Luthor a better character in the ultimate cut of Batman vs. Superman? Because I like Jesse Eisenberg, and I think that he can be a good Lex Luthor.
He is still just off the wall in that movie, even in the Ultimate Edition. he comes off more as the Riddler than he does as Lex Luthor.
Maybe they'll tone him back if they ever continue.
Because Lex, to me, he makes a ton of good points in everything that he's smart about the way that he does things. He doesn't want to come off as the villain because he doesn't see himself as the villain. However, Lex does things in this universe that are clearly like, you're insane.
Yeah.
Like, you literally blew up Congress to send a message. I'm sorry, but I'm not on your side. You seem more of a threat than the guy who's saving people in the bombing. I don't care if he's an all-powerful alien. You are the bigger threat here than anyone else.
That's true.
Like, in a lot of the Superman lore, you would side with Lex over Superman because he's like,
there's like logic to it.
Yeah, he's like he's not bombing shit just to make it look like Superman did it. He's just like, no, listen, I'm building these weapons because if he does turn on us, then we're gonna have an issue. Like, instead of just going, oh, you won't let me help you? Let me destroy your structural integrity.
Batman took the place of Lex Luthor in Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah, no, he did. He definitely did. He took that mantle and became that character, which is what Jesse... And I'm sure that's why Zack took it in that direction, is because he was like, well, I don't want them both to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, somebody's got to be a little different. But I think that he was modernized well enough. He just wasn't executed as well. Like, I think Jesse just went over the top with it and was like, I don't know
he should have been
what to do. Yeah.
That reminded me of one scene that I really liked in the Snyder Cut, which Alfred and Bruce are having a conversation, and Alfred's like, if you're not sure you can take down the bull, maybe you shouldn't be waving the big red flag in his face. Basically saying, you know that you can't beat Superman. If you resurrect him and he's not on your side, you have that to consider.
Right.
And there's a nice little callback in that same scene where he says, he and Alfred say something and they're talking about Superman, and he's like, well, you don't know if he's going to be on your side and all that. And he says, well, we have to take that chance even if it's a 1%. Like, he takes that same line that he said in Batman vs. Superman and reverses it because he needs it now.
Yeah.
Like, I liked that. I liked that scene, that line was reversed because
I like Alfred a lot in this movie.
Oh, Alfred's great. Alfred's great in this movie.
Whenever his adoptive son goes off to potentially die, he just gets drunk and starts fixing cars.
Yeah.
And then Superman shows up and he's like, "Oh, he told me you'd be here."
Yeah.
Oh, Master Kent.
And then what was the other thing that I liked about Alfred in this? Oh, that scene where they leave the drop ship and he's like, "What makes you so sure, Master Wayne, that you're gonna be able to do this?" And he's like, "Faith, Alfred." It's like, I got faith. Like,
yeah.
I was like, I liked that. Like, he was like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know where we're going with this. Just gonna take it on faith that we're gonna do it.
I'm gonna try anyway.
Yeah. And at that point, they didn't have Clark with them.
Yeah.
Which that was another thing. I don't know if either of you remember how Clark showed up to the fight in the Jaws version.
I don't remember.
He rips Cyborg his leg off or something, and throws him not Superman, Steppenwolf.
Right.
Rips his leg off and throws him down because he's trying to take the mother boxes apart. And he says something about I forget what the line is, but he said something about truth, and then you hear Clark, and he's like, well, I'm a fan of truth, and then he slowly gets blurred, and then he focuses in, and he's like, but I'm also a fan of justice, and then he headbutts Steppenwolf, and he goes flying across the catwalk.
Oof.
This was so much better because Cyborg's,
this is the best part of the movie.
Yeah, Cyborg's interlinking with the whole with the cubes before they form the Unity, and Steppenwolf comes up behind him with the axe to just slice him down. And as soon as he comes down, Clark just comes right in and just takes it to the shoulder and just looks him dead in the eyes.
Doesn't even budge.
Nope.
He's just...
I was like, wow, that was way fucking better.
Yeah, he's like, what's the line? I'm not impressed or something?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he just shoots him across the room.
Damn it, it should have been, that don't impress me much.
So I really like the scene with the Flash in this whole setup where he's where he wasn't just saving civilians because
Jaws couldn't figure out what to do with it.
They needed to supercharge Cyborg so that he could get into the mother boxes before the Unity's created, and they separate them. And he's like, this is one thing that annoyed me. Like, he's going around, and one of the parademons actually hits him.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of stupid.
Well, at that point, he's just firing into the same spot.
Yeah,
because you never see him like turn it. He's firing into the same spot because he knows at least.
I thought he was slightly turning with it.
He might have been.
I thought,
but like I think towards the end, you saw that he was just firing in the same spot.
I mean, he knew
that if he had a constant string, it would at least hit him once.
Yeah,
which it does. It does, which it builds a lot of suspense.
And Batman's like, "Are you okay, Barry?" And he's like, "Just got the wind knocked out of me."
And then you see
that scene was crazy. Like, what's his name? The actor
Ezra Miller. He's fantastic in that.
Like, you see the pain and agony that and he's trying to sound okay, over the intercom. But.
No, and that's the other thing too. Is like that built so much suspense for me because I didn't give a shit what was happening in the end of this in the Jaws cut because I was like, oh, Superman's gonna show up, then it's just gonna be a pound fest. He's just gonna beat the hell out of Steppenwolf, and then they're gonna win, and they do, sure as shit. Because I was like, well, called that one. In this, I was like, all right, he's gonna supercharge Cyborg, so he's doing this. Oh, he got hit. I was like, he's like almost fatally wounded. I was like. He's not gonna. I was like, what's gonna happen next? And I'm like, this is gonna go in a whole different direction, which I was super excited about.
Yeah.
And it does, because the fucking world ends. In fact, I'm pretty sure the whole universe ends.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Because that happened, once it locked up, because I saw it start to get closer to locking up, and then it locks up, and Cyborg was like, it's too late, and then the whole Barry turns and the whole thing just explodes, and I was like, oh my god! I was like, this, and then he starts turn back time, and I was like, okay.
Well, he starts phasing because he phases basically through the destruction.
Yeah.
To stay alive.
Yeah, and that was cool because there's another thing that worked. We established that he could turn back time.
Right.
In the scene where they resurrect Superman. So he was able to, and that's the thing, Flash is the real hero because he literally turned back time to save the world.
You have two great payoffs in this climax sequence. Is Cyborg, his confrontation with the mother boxes, where they manipulate him, they're trying to, prey on him and be like, we can make you a family again, like, we can make how things are, you don't have to be alone anymore. And he's like, I'm not alone. Because I have my friends that was a great payoff, and he comes to terms with the fact that his entire family has died, and then you get Barry reciting what his dad told him. He's like, stop living in the past, make your own future, and that's whenever he's turning back time to save the world.
Is this the part where he's telling himself that he's going to run faster than he ever has?
Yeah.
Is that the same part?
Yeah.
Because that was great. His whole little pep talk to himself.
Yeah, and that's because he's stepping on nothing.
Yes.
And then it's forming
basically it looks like he's building it back to.
And that's when he's like, stop living in the past because, obviously his father's in prison. And he's like, create your own future, which he does. Yeah, that's the two great payoffs of this.
Yeah, and then holy shit, that climactic battle with Steppenwolf fighting all of them. Oh, and that's the other thing. That happens later in the Jaws cut where Superman uses the breath to freeze his axe, and it's stupid because he gets up and blows his axe.
Yeah,
and then
it's so nonchalant.
No, it's on his shoulder, and he just goes and just freezes it and smashes it, and then just pounds him into the thing. I'm like, that's awesome. That's epic. And then him just repeatedly pounding him into the ground to keep him at bay while Cyborg separates the boxes out.
Yeah.
And then he lasers Steppenwolf's whole. He separates his shoulder and then cuts his entire horn off.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit! I was like, it's brutal.
Yeah, he wasn't playing games with it.
No, and that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to see because instead they just beat up Steppenwolf in the Jaws cut, and then the parademons, which prey on fear, take him, and he boom tubes out. And in this, we get one of the most epic beheadings I've ever seen on film.
So that's another thing that benefits in this movie. Is like in the Joss cut, Superman shows up. He basically beats the doors off of Steppenwolf, and then he saves the day. But in this one, certainly Superman does have a handling in saving the day.
Crucial part.
He shows up and he starts beating Steppenwolf, but then Wonder Woman and Aquaman start beating Steppenwolf too. Whereas in the Joss cut, it was basically just Superman underhandedly beating the fuck out of Steppenwolf.
Yeah, and that was the nice thing because they had Steppenwolf so off guard because he just had half of his head removed via laser.
Oh yeah,
and then
forgot about the Trident kill.
Oh, and the portal opens up, in which Darkseid is about to come through because they found all 3 mother boxes, which is how he's able to come to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And he's about to come through. Well, he's on wherever they were about to come
Apocalypse.
from. Yeah. And Steppenwolf is standing there, looking at them you guys gonna help? And then Aquaman spears him with the trident, picks him up, and throws him. And as he's doing that, Wonder Woman runs up the side of the wall, takes her sword out, and lops his head off. As who pushed him into the portal? Doesn't somebody?
Superman, I think.
Yeah, and they give him a boost or something.
Yeah.
Pushes him through the portal as his head's coming off, and then
doesn't Aquaman have him speared?
I thought he just throws him.
Yeah, I thought he just threw him.
I can't.
I thought maybe Superman punched him off of it, and then that's what sent him flying.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I might be misremembering,
but she cuts his head clean off, and then it goes in through the portal, and then Darkseid just crushes it with his boot. And I was like,
yeah, because he gives no shits about.
No, he didn't care. He didn't care about Steppenwolf.
He was probably kind of surprised that he got all 3 mother boxes.
Yeah,
but still owed him 50,000 worlds.
I think he probably would have reneged that whenever he gave him the anti-life equation.
That's true. Yeah.
He probably would have
just killed
accepted it. Well, maybe, but he probably would have accepted it back in the fold a little bit.
Yeah.
I do like whenever Barry's turning back time, you see Superman rematerializing.
That was crazy.
That was cool.
Because you see bone structure, you see everything.
Yeah.
Muscle tissue forming.
Yeah.
Flesh over the muscle tissue.
It was kind of graphic. It's rated R.
It was cool.
It was very graphic. You see Cyborg's one eye coming in.
Yeah.
That was oh shit.
Yeah.
And then after they beat Steppenwolf, then we get our epilogue, which is the nightmare sequence.
Yeah.
Which
starts with that.
Which I have to say, the interaction between Batfleck and Jared Leto Joker is pretty much what I wanted in this.
Yeah, Jared Leto is very good.
He really shines as the Joker.
I still hate his laugh. I was able to tolerate his laugh in Suicide Squad, but in this, I was it didn't fit for me.
I like that he now looks creepier. He
acts more like the Joker.
Yeah.
He doesn't act.
He's not just a gangster.
Yeah, which
the Joker can be good when he's just a gangster, but
well, I'm talking a blinged out,
Joker. Joker in this felt like he was straight out of the comics, where he was just taunting Batman.
I love the long hair.
Yeah, I did too.
Visually, he just looks great.
Yeah, whenever Mira's Cyborg's terrified. He's we gotta get out of here. He's gonna see us. And Mira's let him come. I'm gonna pay him back for what he did to Arthur. And then you're I said this before, you're expecting it to be Darkseid, and it ends up being Superman.
Yeah.
I knew that it was gonna be Superman.
So, I popped hard at it. There's people on the internet that are it's unnecessary, but when Ben Affleck was I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah.
I'm holy shit.
There's just a lot there, because Batman's the last thing that I held Harley when she was dying, and the last thing that she said to me dying in my arms was, when you kill him, do it slowly. And he's and make no mistake, I will fucking kill you.
Yes. That's so good.
That honestly was after I watched that scene, I was this is what I want. Like, if you're gonna do, if in an alternate timeline that we don't live in now, that if Matt Reeves had done Super Batman, and we would have eventually got a Jared Leto Joker Batman movie, this was like, yes, give me more, give me more. These are the interactions I want. Like after watching that scene, I was like, that was fucking great.
I think my favorite part was whenever Deathstroke is like, can we just leave this guy or whatever? And he's like, yeah, you're tempting me, Batman. He's like, oh, what are you gonna do? You gonna kill me? Come on, I'm your best friend.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, the Joker is, like, Batman's best friend.
Yeah.
And but also his worst enemy.
Yeah.
No, that was, like, Jared Leto, like, he didn't...
I mean, in this timeline, obviously.
I didn't hate Jared Leto as the Joker in Suicide Squad, but, like, in this, I was like, yeah. That was excellent.
Yeah.
I was like that was the Joker that I thought he was going to be playing in Suicide Squad.
Because Jared Leto is a good actor.
He is.
And then it's just...
And he's very good at playing villains.
Yeah.
Extremely good at
I feel like he
villains.
was finally given some appropriate direction with the Joker. Because, he's very bad in Suicide Squad.
He was, because, like, I just reread, like, Killing Joke. And, like, listening to Jared, like, say his lines as the Joker, I was like, oh, it's like, it feels so much like that character.
Yeah.
Like, it just, like, it's like Mark Hamill reading as the Joker. Like, Jared Leto kind of had the same way that he talks, like, and taunting Batman and all that. I was like, that's what I want.
Like
that's the Joker I want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really hope that this... I know that Zack Snyder says that he's done with this now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can understand why.
I don't.
I mean, going through what he went through, I can
No.
understand.
I understand. I understand.
I just really hope that they continue with this.
Yeah.
Like, I think, especially, like, if they see, like, how well it's being received. I mean,
Right.
there are some people that are just, like, hating on it because it's Zack Snyder and people hate Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
But I thought that it was pretty good, and I hope that they can get people back together and continue the story, because it made me want to see that, like, they were basically just doing the Injustice storyline.
Yeah.
Where Superman becomes the villain.
Yeah, the
because
futuristic
Lois dies.
part. Yeah.
And I would love to see that in film,
Oh, yeah.
especially with these actors playing these characters. I think it would be awesome.
No, like, listen.
So is it in that futuristic part? Is it Joker that still kills?
I don't think so, because
Okay.
she was like melted. I honestly think that
Right.
it's Darkseid or something that Batman fucks up that she dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be very.
And then Darkseid finds Superman, and he's like, oh.
I think Darkseid has to do it just because he recruits Superman.
I feel like he has a hand in it.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Well, and that's what.
Almost like the Sub-Zero story.
That's what Zack Snyder said in his thing that sparked all this. Is he said that the way that whole future was supposed to play out was that Darkseid boom tubes into the Batcave and kills Lois Lane. But doing it in the Batcave, making it kind of look like it was something that Bruce did, or had like a security device that went off or something.
Yeah.
So he kills her, making it look like Bruce did it, turning Superman against, because he knows he can't win.
Was that
if
the
Superman
Batcave where Superman
Yeah.
was holding it?
Yeah, because the Robin suit is seen.
I
in the
didn't even
background.
notice. Yeah.
It's in like a case still. Everything's like destroyed, but you can see it in the case. But it has to be Darkseid because he knows he can't beat them if Clark is on their team still.
Yeah.
So he needs to take that part out so he can.
It's the Baron Zemo of the DC.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he knows that he has to take out.
He has to split them apart,
Yes.
or else he'll never win.
Yeah.
So I brought this up to Aaron. It's kind of inconsequential, but so this happens like a year after, like, Superman's death, right? Like, that's the conclusion I came to.
Yeah.
So Lois should have already had her baby.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
a
said
lot of
maybe
people say that it's Bruce's child.
Yeah.
Because that's what
But-
Zack
Because
said.
there is a time or a universe where that happens.
Yeah,
Superman dies.
But
they
I
get
feel like
whatever.
that just like
It's gonna be
that
Game
scene
Changer.
doesn't. Yeah, that scene doesn't really work. Like whenever it shows her being pregnant, it's kind of like a throwaway thing. But at the same time,
I mean,
it's like the time.
I don't
doesn't
think
make
we
up.
got confirmed that she was pregnant. It was just
In the last
there.
scene, she was pregnant.
Really?
Well,
where they walk into the Kent farm.
Well, and that's the other.
I didn't notice that.
No, I thought that she was carrying a
I
basket.
think that it showed her. I don't know. Either way.
But even
We'll have
then,
to
she
check.
should
I'm
have
very
been
curious.
showing
Yeah.
that entire time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't know.
gonna call bullshit on
Yeah.
it.
That was just like a weird thing.
Yeah.
But
Like you said,
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but a lot of people were asking, like, what does that pregnancy test mean? But do they say how long it has been in this version?
Because I'm almost certain that
I thought it
it
was
says
the last
it's
one.
been a year since.
Okay.
Because whenever he says the mother box are awakened after Clark's death, and a year ago, I think he says.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if it. We'd have to rewatch it to see if it is a year, because I feel like Steppenwolf would waste no time getting there if the mother box is called out to him. So it could be only like a couple months.
The stages of grief that Lois seems to be in, like, she's still visiting the memorial area. Like, I don't think she'd be doing that a year in. So, I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean,
it
doesn't
I
matter.
just thought that that's what it was. I could be completely wrong. And it was
because I thought they
would
did
be
say
wrong.
that in like Suicide Squad and probably the 2017 version, but I'm wondering if this isn't like a different thing.
And also in the 2017 version, I don't think that they say that it's like part of like that it's been a year, because it still seems very fresh. Because people are still like they're selling the T-shirts and mourning, So it still feels very fresh. So maybe it is just like a few months after.
Yeah.
Either way,
which would make more sense if she is pregnant. Then it's only a few.
I'm sure that
months
information is out there.
Oh, it is.
We will have to find it,
And we will discover it.
Well, that's about all I have to say.
Yeah.
It's infinitely better than Joss's Cut.
Infinite. Like this, I walked away from this movie like that's like I think I said to you that for me, Zack Snyder superhero movies go Watchmen and then right underneath of this, because this is like his pinnacle.
Mm-hmm.
Like he did everything right with this.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show studios, give the director the time that they need, and let them do what they want, and you could actually end up with something great. We're basically finishing up. I think we can.
A couple of talking points I wanted to bring up. I think the runtime could have still been cut down a little bit and still had the same impact.
Yeah. Which you and I talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. And it was a big deal when I first turned it on. What was your guys' initial reaction to the 4x3?
I was confused, but
I was
think it
too.
was
I
fine.
didn't know.
Yeah, it honestly looks fine. It didn't bother me at all.
It was kind of startling at first, but then I just completely.
Yeah. I mean, it was filmed for an IMAX viewing, so that's probably why Zack. And it even says.
Is that in 4x3?
Yeah.
Okay.
It says it's taller.
Okay.
And it's like this is presented the way that Zack wanted it to be seen.
Yeah.
4x3.
Which, and I'm sure if it is probably definitely going to happen now. When the Blu-ray comes out, it'll probably be 16:9 or something. Or
I'm sure that there will be.
There might be two couple
Yeah,
different.
you'll probably have like two different choices that you can watch.
Yeah, but I thought it was great.
And you might have full screen, widescreen, and 4x3.
Yeah, and I honestly, I'll just say this right now, I'm first in line to buy that Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, no,
Because
gotta own this.
I will watch it.
Even though it's
I
on
will
HBO
literally
Max,
watch this. I will sit down and watch this like once a year.
Yeah.
Just because this
I was gonna
feels
say like maybe they release it in theaters, but a 4-hour-long movie's too long to put.
Yeah, I just don't see people going out since it's day one on
Well,
HBO
and that's the thing. Like I know Chris Stockman talked about it. Like maybe they can make a cut where it's like only 3 hours that they could put into an IMAX or something like that, just for like a limited IMAX release or something.
So what was that?
The
Zack Snyder
the
theatrical
yeah.
theatrical cut.
Yeah, we like Blade Runner where there's like like 7 different cuts. Harrison Ford will have like.
You know that he
dialogue
has
and
like at
narration.
least 2 more cuts, like one of them shorter and then one of them.
I mean, probably.
There's an
There's probably
entire
a longer
nightmare cut where it's just all nightmare footage.
Well, give it to me.
I know, I want that. That'll be a bonus disc. It's like, and here's the nightmare.
And
version.
here's that movie.
It's just the same movie, except it's just like the color palette of
Yeah.
the nightmare stuff the whole time.
It's
Except
all
the nightmare
nightmare
stuff
stuff.
is in like the regular color. It's just
Oh my
God.
God.
It's muted. Great.
Somebody
tone
give me that.
muted.
That's great.
Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I mean that's about it.
I feel like this is the first movie that's been released in a while that we've really like just gone and just talked like, and we didn't even have to go see my scene. We just wanted to talk about these events that happened in it.
And there really wasn't any structure. We just went to town, and it was organic.
Yeah, and it went in order too. So it wasn't like
Do we want to rate it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I'll
yeah,
go
you-
first.
yeah,
Sure,
you go
I don't know. I'm gonna go a straight 9 out of 10. I don't think it's perfect. But goddamn it, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'll say 8 out of 10. I think that some things could have been left on the cutting room floor. And we didn't mention this about the music, but there was some overdone music.
Yeah.
Overdone, yes, but like, and don't get me wrong, I love Danny Elfman, but his score in the Justice League made like that terrorist thing made it sound so goofy, like, and not goofy, campy, where like the music sounded so weird because it was like Spider-Man 2 when Doc Ock goes in to rob the bank. Like, that's what the music sounded like, and I was like, I can't take this seriously. I can't take these terrorists seriously.
The one that
But
stuck
in
out.
this, it was just kind of like very dark in tone and everything, and really made the scene like, it just goes to show you that musical score will change a scene in a movie.
So I didn't notice anything on the scoring, but the one song with Aquaman, I think when he saves that guy, I think it is.
Oh yeah.
I just didn't like that song. I don't remember what it was.
I can't remember.
But I remember being like, I knowingly was like, I don't like that. You know.
It was like some heavy like rock song when he.
I don't think so.
No, in the Justice League.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
I like that version better. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to say anything about that movie, but I'll say that scene was better. It was elevated by the musical choice in Justice League than in this.
Yeah, I don't remember that, so I wasn't basing it on that. But yeah, I just didn't like the song that was in that one.
Didn't either.
But neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Nor there.
Yeah. So you said 8.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go 8.5. I'm gonna hit right down the middle because after watching this movie, I felt the same way that I did after watching The Winter Soldier. I was just like, wow, okay, that was really good. Like that definitely could creep into my top 10 favorite superhero movies.
Yeah.
And
I've heard people putting it pretty high on their DC list.
And
rightfully so.
Yeah, simply just because DC is.
Yeah.
And like Shazam and Wonder Woman don't even crack into my top 10, but this probably could weasel its way into the number 10 or number 9 slot. Bravo, well done, Zack Snyder.
Yes.
You gave the world what we wanted. Nature is healing.
Please don't leave this universe yet.
Yes, for God's sake. And I'll say it here because it's going around. Restore the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
I want the Snyderverse.
I agree.
Give me more.
I think it would be a bad thing if we don't mention it. I didn't cry outright, but it was very emotional when it just goes to For Autumn.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to.
Well, they played Hallelujah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Another Zack Snyder.
Yes.
We knew you couldn't get away with it.
I mean, that was the first
You
trailer
can't
for
keep getting
this.
away with this. No, but yes.
That'd be funny if like a little in the credits there was just like a little like the credits move over to one side and it just like shows Zack like look at you while Hallelujah starts playing. He's like, yeah, you knew I would not do that.
That'd be funny.
That would be.
Well,
So.
I hope you guys like that discussion. I know I enjoyed having it.
Yes.
I've been wanting to talk about this movie for a little while, so make sure to comment and like the video if you like it. Make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed.
Hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I guess we'll see you next time.
Give us a comment on what
The
you
new
think.
setup, yeah. Let us know what you guys think of it. We put a lot of time and effort into it.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Later.